Hey guys, welcome back to PJ's POV. Happy Mother's Day. That's the first thing. I'm wishing all the mothers that are listening or whatever a happy Mother's Day. There's nothing in the world like a mom. There's nothing in the world like a super mom. Mothers, they bring us into this world. They do everything that they can for us. And my mom passed when I was small, but I have so much amazing mothers around me that I'm so grateful to know and to see the things and the barriers and the things that they're willing to do for their kids, and I think that that's so important. Thank you guys for jumping into today's episode. I have had a long time since I haven't recorded anything because I was sick, really sick, and then I was needing to just take a little time to myself, and so I was like, it's Mother's Day. I think today's the nicest day to hop on and do a video. So, if you're new here, my name is PJ. I make content relating to stuff that we as women go through in our early 20s, late 30s, early 30s, whatever, millennial point of view, whatever. I'm a person that I speak about things that I know that we go through as women, and it's sometimes that stuff that we don't really want to speak about. That's what I speak about on this channel. So, thank you for listening and jumping into today. Today's episode name, I'm gonna decide that at the end, but it is based on a movie that I really just saw. It's the biopic of Michael Jackson's life. Michael, that was the name of the movie. And I wanted to make this video because I was so inspired watching that movie. First of all, Michael is one of my favorite artists. And that's one thing that I think that me and my fiance bonded on because we both love his music. And I can remember my mom playing Michael Jackson in the house as well. So that's something that I can remember. And it's just an inspirational person. Again, number two, I love animals. So I connect when I watch him on screen and I watch him, the fact that he loved animals instead of being around humans. That's me. That's me. Because put me around animals any day before you put me around humans. That's me. So there's so much things. But today's video is really, or today's podcast episode is really about the things that I took from the movie, and I think that we can apply to our lives, and I think that we can sit and think about it. The one thing that I took from this is the thing it's that I saw throughout the movie is stay true to what you want for your life. I know I spoke about this in a lot of other episodes, but watching this movie, you see how much, like, when he had an idea, he stuck with it. It didn't matter if someone told him, that don't make sense. Like, I don't think you're gonna do really well doing this dance or doing it this way. He stuck with it, and he created amazing projects, amazing videos. And because he stuck to what he believed in, because he stuck to what he wanted. I think it's so important when you have a dream. I think when the dream sounds so unrealistic, when you tell it to other people, that they'll probably be like, that ain't making no sense. That's when you need to continue to go, because that's when you know that you're blessed with that thought. That what's that word, that gift or that want that you have, it's already there. It already exists. You just need to live up to it to fulfill it. And I saw throughout the whole film, wherever he wanted to do something, he wanted to do something in one of his videos. He wanted to dress a certain way or whatever, his lyrics, whatever, he stuck to what he wanted. And I think that that is so important in this life, that you understand that this is, again, your walk, and you stick true to that. You stay true to everything that you want, no matter how unrealistic it sounds to the outside world. Number two, family ain't always like, I learned this from experience. Sometimes your family be the ones who really want the worst for you. You know that saying, family or blood is thicker than water? Over here, my friends, people that I have around me as friends, are more family to me sometimes than my own family. Of course, I have family members that I'm like this with, really important to me. But my friends, people that I met in life, are sometimes more family to me than my own family. Because your family, they want to see you do good. They just don't want to see you do better than them. And sometimes they sit down and they really be plotting. They be plotting on your life. your sister, your brother, your this one, your that one. Sometimes you have to be able to just cut that cord. You have to say, like, this is my family. Family is important, but my mental health and the goals and the dreams that I have for myself are also important, because it is. You know, you can't save everyone. And I think that that's one of the biggest things that Black people, we really, 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 it's instilled in us. You know, family is everything. If you make it in life, you have to help everyone. And more than more than ever now in the world, we're seeing where celebrities are like, nah, you gonna get up and you gonna go work. You know, I'll help you, but I'm not giving you everything. And I think that that's important, because sometimes you give and you give and you give, you give people a finger and they want the whole hand. So I think it's so important that sometimes when family starts to become a stressor, family starts to become the thing that's standing in your way from the goals, from the dreams that you have to know when to cut that cord. It is so important. I don't care who it is. It could be your grandmother. You have to know when to cut that cord. It is very important, because sometimes they will be your downfall, your same family. Number 3, show up every day. Show up every day. Don't stop putting in the work. You know, show up every day. Make it your business. Like, let's say you say, I want to be a doctor. Show up every day and continue to do stuff every day that will get you closer to that goal, because it's not going to come by you just sitting down saying that you want to become a doctor. And I'm speaking to myself right here too, because I have a lot of goals and I'll always say them, but then sometimes I become to procrastinate, or I have moments where I have imposter syndrome and I don't show up as my best self. Keep showing up, you know, keep showing up. People see it. And also, sometimes you have to trick yourself into doing certain things. You have to trick yourself into being confident. I remember seeing this thing from Rihanna when she was like, what do you do on days when you don't feel confident? Fake it. Fake it. I've had a lot of days like that when I don't feel confident, or I don't feel whatever, and I'm probably faking it, not every day, but I'm saying that keep showing up. Never stop showing up, because you never know when it'll be the day that maybe you end up meeting someone that'll be like, I see you, you know, I really see you. I want to introduce you to XYZ. You know, so never stop showing up. Number 4, always show up everywhere as your best self, and think to yourself that you're gonna meet somebody important, or there's something that's gonna happen good for you. You know, sometimes we get into the mood where we're like, we're just gonna run some errands, so just gonna throw on some stuff. And I was like that. I'll throw on some sweats, I'll throw on some, and I'm gonna go to the city because I'm like, I don't really care. But keep showing up as your best self. Show up with the identity that you have for yourself. So let's say you want to be, I don't know, a CEO, a owner, a business owner, blah blah blah, whatever, a doctor, nurse, whatever. Show up every day and do stuff every day that looks like your future self. You know, I remember in a movie Michael kept saying, I'm gonna be a star. Or what did he say, babe? I want to be a star. I know I'm going to be a star, or something like that. Be the best artist in the world. You want to be the best artist in the world. So he kept showing up. He kept showing up as that. Every little thing that he did, you can see that it's what made him. Like, when Michael died, the world stopped for a second. Everyone had moments where they were like, I myself was at home. I was like, Michael ain't dead. Like, this is a hoax. He's not really dead. You know, it really took a while and it's been years, and it's still an impact, because he said, I want to be the best artist. And he kept showing up as that every day. He kept doing what he had to do. And of course, everyone has down moments. Everyone has moments where they feel less confident, all of those things. But he kept showing up. You know, when you see him at award shows, when you see him at interviews and all of that, he looked his best self. I'm sure the man had moments where he was not dressed as his best self, but every time you saw him, he was putting in that work to live up to what he believed he would be. And that's what he is. You know, that's what he is. And that's what he's remembered for. You know, you can go in any continent in the world and you say Michael Jackson, and people know who that is, you know, because what he wanted for himself, he kept showing up to become that. It's not going to blink and it's going to be what you want it to be. You have to trick yourself into being that. Whether it's like, okay, if you say like, I want to be a content creator, or I want to be a girl that influencer, let's just say, You do things every day to trick your mind into you're already living in this life, and that's how it's gonna come. That's how it's gonna, you know, that's how it's gonna become. That's how it's gonna become real, because you start to do the actions that is needed to actually be in that what you want it to be. I'm trying to think of what's my fifth one. Always never stop learning. And I've said this in multiple things, never stop learning. Because one thing you can see is his evolution with his music. From the beginning, when it was with his brothers, to the growth into the person that he was in the end. All his albums and stuff. Never stop learning. Never stop learning whatever it is that you're doing. If you say, like, I want to be I don't know, like, I want to be a detective. I want to be whatever it is. Never stop learning. Never stop being willing to be teachable. You have to be teachable in this world. It's important for you never to say, I know it. I know that nobody can teach me anything. Listen, I love cooking. And every week I surprise myself because I'll do something in a way and I'll be like, oh, well, shit, I didn't know this. Even from other people, I'm like, I go to work and I see people doing stuff certain ways and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, oh, okay, that seems cool. I'm always like in awe of the difference and the things that you learn, and never stop evolving. Always be willing to keep learning. Always be willing to, get in new information. Pick up a book, learn. Sometimes I'm having arguments with people and I think to myself, like, Google is so free. Like, there's never been a time where it's easier for you to garner information than now. Because Google is free. You can literally go on Safari, whatever type of phone you have, whatever, and you can Google something and it's for free. History, this, that, everything is there. So sometimes when I'm arguing with people and I hear them say stupid stuff, I'm like, you got this thoughts from like 10 years ago and you trying to tell me it's still in your mind? Like, you got to be willing to learn. Never stop. Never think to yourself, you know everything you know. You don't know. You don't know. Consider yourself always a student. You're always supposed to be a student of life. That's how life is. You're supposed to always be willing to learn. Always be willing to learn new information, learn new things, Never stop being teachable. The next one I would say is, which is my number 6, is to be careful of the people that you have around you. Be careful of the influence that people have on you. Sometimes I see young girls and they're so impressionable. They take everything that they see on social media and they just eat it all up. Oh yeah, but I see on ChatGPT that he's saying this, and I see on Instagram this, and I say, you don't have a brain? Like, you can't think for yourself? I hate when somebody tells me all the time they see this here and they see that here. So you yourself don't have any information going on upstairs. Stop. You don't need to take everything and run with it. You have to be careful of the people that you have in your circle, because sometimes the people you have in your circle are the people that are willing to get rid of you. They're the people that will, anytime something go wrong with you, they'll be the one like, yeah, I know she was up. I know she was going to do that. I know that was going to happen to her because blah, 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 blah. And I've had those type of people around me. And for the last 2 years, I've been, anytime I'm around someone and I feel like a weird energy, sometimes I don't even tell them anything. I just disappear. I'm like, gone. Thanos, gone. Because no. Be careful of the influence of the people that you have around you, the people that you have in your circle. Sometimes we're young. We're in love with this one and that one and whatever. And people are using us. People are taking advantage of us. Be careful. The last one I want to add is never, well, I have 2 more, so this is the one before last, is never let the world tell you what you're supposed to be. As a Black woman, as a Black person, as a Caribbean woman, one thing I am is very vocal about the things that I believe in. I don't care if you as a Black person think either of it or think otherwise. Think what you want. You could think you're a giraffe. You could think you're a zebra. That's okay. Good for you. God is good. I'm happy for you. But as a person, never stop remembering who you are. Don't let the world tell you who you are. I remember, not only the world, the people around you, because sometimes people around you, they have such an influence that it changes the way that you see yourself. In the movie, his father called him Big Nose so much times that his father continued to call him that, and he was watching his book with Pinocchio. He went and changed his nose and had it done multiple times too. Then of course he suffered, with vitiligo, and in order to have his skin even out, which is something I understand, because I have black spots, dark spots on my face. I wish that all of my skin was evened out, So I get it. It's not the same thing, but I get it. So of course there was surgeries and whatever it is done to make sure that he looks one skin color or whatever, or the way that social media or the way that people spoke about him and said things about him and all of those things, it changed the way he probably saw himself, and the confidence he had for himself. Never make the world turn you into a person that hates yourself, because they will do that. And as a black person, I'm gonna say this blunt, it's a black person living in a white man's world. It's something that this is something you will always suffer with, and you have to be strong. You have to know who you are as a person. You have to know who you are. My last one is, regardless of what's going on in the world, never change your kindness. Never stop being kind. Sometimes I'm speaking to people, and let's say they know stuff about me, or they know my past or history or whatever, and they always say stuff like, I don't know, I will become mean as hell. I will become a bitch. I don't know, that's just not in me. If I have to become that way with people, I rather cut those people out of my life, because I'm not a nice person, but I'm a very kind person. And I pride myself in being that way. I pride myself in being that person. And so the world will not change who I am as a person. Sure, I walk around every day and be like, people, because that's how I feel. I'd be like, get from next to me, because people be on some shit, especially in this country. People be on some shit. But at the end of the day, I know who I am. I won't let the world change the way my outlook on life, the way I view myself, the way I show up for other people and all of those things. No, I will never let the world change that. And I think one of my favorite songs from Michael, Not Think I Know, is Human Nature. Love that song. Every time I listen to it, it gives me goosebumps. I cry because it's such a beautiful song, such a beautiful song. And I'm going to end it here with saying that such an impactful person, that, you look at his life, you look at the things that he accomplished with the stuff that he went through, being abused by his dad, and the world, the way the world mocked him, the way the world was mean to him. Because listen, he passed away and the world was Michael, Michael, Michael. But when he was alive, I'm not saying that people didn't show up for him, but I feel like he deserved more flowers while he was alive. He definitely did. He definitely did deserve more flowers, more recognition while he was alive. And that's something that the world doesn't give. When you passed away, that's when the world is like, oh my gosh, he was so impactful, da da da. He was impactful when he was alive. You just didn't want to give him that, because it takes for a person dying for people to really sit with their thoughts, their emotions, and everything like that. And I hate it. I absolutely hate that. But such an impactful person, a person that, you can see that he truly had a heart of gold, and he loved animals and children. And that's me. When children start to cry and stuff like that, I'll be like, okay, yeah, wrap it up now. But I love animals. I love, 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 love animals. And I love kids. I love just seeing happy children, giving back. And that's something that he did. So I think that that's something that the movie was so impactful for me, because I had to keep reminding myself, first of all, that it was not him. It was his nephew. Jafar did an amazing job of, the portraying that he did of his uncle. He should be proud of himself. And yeah, I think everyone, you should go watch this movie. It's a beautiful movie. I actually want to go and watch it one more time. And I think you need to see it, you need to see it, because we know Michael Jackson, yada, yada, yada. But I feel like it is important for you to see it, because you see the evolution of him himself, and you see the moments where he just kept going. Of course, they could have gone deeper into the stuff that he went through or what he felt or the making of this and the making of that. But I think it was amazingly made. I think the writers, the people that produced it and everything, they took a lot of time and effort and energy into putting into the movie, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, thank you guys for listening and tuning into today's episode. And I'll see you guys in the next one. And again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Ooh, my makeup looks really cute. Really, really cute. Just needed a moment for the makeup. But anyways, bye.